Fort Knox is the highest security prison ever in Fort Knox. But would you ever think about finding some gold in those Fort Knox prisons? Good evening and welcome to Give Me a Break. I'm Jonathan Carmody. If you worked as a Fort Knox security guard or went to Fort Knox prison, you may have stumbled across some gold. And as we're about to show you, you can be rich while going to prison and even paying your bail. Here's Les Trent.
Fort Knox is synonymous with security. It's the place where America's gold reserves are stored. But are those legendary vaults actually empty? President Trump and Elon Musk want to see for themselves.
We're going to go into Fort Knox to make sure the gold is there. Don't be totally surprised. We opened the door, we'll say, there's nothing here. They stole this too. We're actually going to Fort Knox to see if the gold is there. Because maybe somebody stole the gold. Tons of gold.
Conspiracy theories that America's gold reserves at Fort Knox have been stolen go back decades. The classic James Bond movie Goldfinger featured a raid on Fort Knox using a high-powered laser. Ultimately foiled by 007. Doug Simmons is one of the few people on Earth who have seen the gold. He worked at Fort Knox for 11 years. His job? Moving the gold from vault to vault during audits.
If someone was to go in there and remove all that ore, it would take a massive operation with a lot of vehicles, and someone would have noticed it.
In 2017, Kentucky Senator and Majority Leader Mitch McConnell was shown the vault. There's the gold behind him. He even signed his name on the wall. Okay, but is the gold still there today?
The American people can rest assured that their money is safe inside that building.
And gold is worth money. So don't be thinking about don't be having money signs in your eyes saying to yourself, I want that gold, must have that gold. Alright. You got some eggs, right? But how can you make your eggs last longer than the expiration date? Here's a trick that you may see.
People are looking for ways to make eggs last longer. You can store eggs in your refrigerator, but you have to do it the right way. And that means keeping them out of the egg tray. You heard right, out of the egg tray. Jacqueline London is a food safety expert.
Right here. This is where I store them. Exactly. So this is the part of the fridge that tends to be the warmest. So what we want to do is store eggs in the coolest and driest place and darkest place of the fridge. So
Back
that
here.
would be middle shelf in the back.
So you should always store your eggs in the back of your refrigerator.
Yes.
Did you know you can freeze eggs, but never in the shell?
You separate the yolk from the white. Now what you want to do here is to add just a pinch of salt, okay, to the yolk. And that is going to maintain the texture for up to 4 months in the freezer.
Now we freeze?
And now we freeze.
Now literally,
We can take those out in a year. We can take the whites out in a year. I would recommend taking out the yolks in 4 months' time.
at this bodega in the Bronx, they're selling 3 eggs in a plastic bag for $2.99. They're called Lucy's, as in loose eggs.
I wouldn't use those for storage because you don't actually know how long those have been out.
Lucy's? That don't go Lucy's. Are you freaking crazy? Lucy, está loco. Now, did you ever forget about those old school desserts? Like they had baked Alaska? Let's watch.
They're forgotten desserts from a bygone era. Remember Cherry's Jubilee?
What's that? That's our signature dessert, Cherry's Jubilee.
Baked Alaska?
Oh no, that's a baked Alaska. No, that's a dessert.
One feature these old-fashioned desserts have in common is the flambe.
The dessert goes up in flames. Look at that.
We decided to try to make some of these desserts that you really don't see these days on restaurant menus. Whoa. Okay, let's get to it. I know you have your blowtorch over here.
I brought my blowtorch. Chef Caroline Schiff starts with Cherry's Jubilee.
We're gonna go for it.
It's hard to see the flame, but the smoke detector sure noticed. Oh! Huh. After putting the cherries and some vanilla ice cream in nice glasses, you are ready to serve.
Oh my god, that is amazing.
Now baked Alaska.
This is the meringue. So sugar and egg whites, and you just want to make sure that you cover the sides.
And we're not done.
We're not done.
No,
Ready
we're
for
not
the
done
fun
until we
part?
blow the torch.
Okay, so
Okay.
don't be intimidated by this blowtorch.
No.
And you're just gently kissing it with the flame. And it smells so good. It's like toasting marshmallow.
Wow, look at that.
It's ice cream on the inside with a warm, flame-licked exterior. Another old-timey dessert is peach melba, which was invented in 1893. This one is basically cooked peaches with a raspberry reduction and, of course, some ice cream.
So pretty.
Sweet treats that stand the test and taste of time.
It may be old school, but it's still great. Great desserts. That evening you'll have your doctor screaming out diabetes. Well, your heart was screaming, I got diabetes! Look, my desserts, I don't die. No, my stomach hurts. My liver's exploding. No, my diabetes. The room is spinning. Hey, it's still 911. What about? Oh, no. That's kind of cool. Still to come, a Project Baltimore story involves a student that says her high school failed the teacher. And a former NFL player gets arrested at a city council meeting. Huh? Blue 43, set, you're under arrest. Please stay with us. Did you receive some text and phone calls from TxDOT? If so, you might be a victim of the TxDOT scam. What are they thinking about? What are they thinking? Do we got nothing better to do than just freaking not see these scams happen anymore? Well, count your blessings. You see text messages all the time of people saying all these things, but what is TxDOT saying about all these scams? Here's my good friend Tony Hallamir.
I got it randomly and I was like, well, that's definitely fake. I haven't traveled recently.
Yes, I did receive that text.
I received one just like maybe a week ago.
I too received the scam texts these neighbors are referring to. They can vary in wording and the entities they claim to represent, but all of them say you have an unpaid toll bill on your account.
But the reason I was like, this is a lie, is because I don't have a car under my name.
Grace Cunningham and her family took a road trip to California. She received the scam text saying that she owed a toll in California, which alarmed her.
The only way we could tell that it was not real was that we don't take my car, and so it would end up paying to my phone number.
Get a text and say, you need to respond to this urgently, you need to take care of your bill.
In fact, Adam Hammond with TxDOT tells me TxTag will never text you about payment reminders or past due payments. Check out this text I got. You can see the area code is not even from the US, and this one coming from an iCloud email address.
It can be easy to fall for it. It can be easy to fall on that, to click on that link because it makes it very urgent sounding.
Hammond says it is crucial you don't click on any links or reply to any of these messages. He also says this is a nationwide issue, but Texans are being targeted.
And so that's why we really want to make sure that people are aware of it and staying vigilant and watching out for these scams.
TxTag says the only number they would ever text you from is 22498. On the south side, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Tony Hadamio, Chris 6 News.
So you witnessed this scam? Just remember what Tony Hallamir said. Thank you, Tony. Well, take a look at this. Some Corpus Christi students are taking part in cleaning up the earth. And as you're about to see, well, let's take a look.
Before Texas A&M Corpus Christi begins their homecoming week on Monday, students took part in a campus cleanup. Over 70 students split into groups across campus, spent their morning picking up trash and other items, so the campus gives a good impression for anyone who visits.
I love my campus, and I wanted to be presentable for any alumni or any students or prospective students who are coming here to tour.
As for homecoming, there are a slew of events to attend this week, such as Acres Away on Tuesday, faculty staff basketball game on Wednesday, and a tailgate on Saturday.
That's so great. And even if you were to attend one of these events, you'd probably be wearing blue. Which, as a matter of fact, I did get something from Goodwill today, and I'd like to show you some. Got it for $5 at Goodwill. I might be wearing this at one of the events thinking I'm a student. But I ain't. But probably some Texas A&M University student might recognize me from the corner. It's like, look at me in the red and blue and say, hey, is that the guy from the corner right there? That's just that's another story. But we're way off topic here. All right, we're going way off topic here. I just want to. Would you have to save energy and money? Well, let's take a look at what you can do to save some energy.
That's high.
No. My old energy bill was like $300, almost $300, and it was just in a trailer, you know?
I use propane for you.
So what do you do to save energy?
Put blankets on the windows. Put blankets on the windows.
Whatever you do to save energy, ERCOT asks that you do it during peak times. 6 to 9 a.m. when we get up, and 4 to 8 p.m. when we come home. The strain on the grid is greatest during those hours, and simple things like switching off lights or lowering your thermostat can make a big difference. American Electric Power Texas, or AEP, the company that owns and maintains the electric infrastructure in Corpus Christi, does its part too.
Continuously supervise the system in real time to quickly detect and resolve any issues that might arise. Something else we do is contingency planning, coordinating with ERCOT and other companies to manage energy demand and supply.
And with supply and demand up, here are some ways to conserve and save money at the same time. Unplug devices. Even if they're off, they're still drawing power. Adjust your thermostat to 68. Use ceiling fans in reverse direction to push warm air up, and seal drafts with weather stripping or towels to block the cold.
I feel like people just set a temperature and hope it gets there.
Bodine Scott Air Conditioning and Plumbing offers home energy audits if you're a serious consumer. Looking at everything from how much outside air is coming in to the efficiency of your windows can mean big savings.
Maybe like 30 to 50% of the energy usage. Yeah, and that's going from like your worst windows to some of your best windows.
Great skin.
Thanks. I got Old Spice.
Wow. Next time the cold weather hits, use these tips to help you save your money when your next electric bill comes. Now, when we return, there is a Project Baltimore story you probably never heard about. It involves what this story involves. This story was involved of a student who was convicted of second-degree assault. But here's the downside. But guess what? The student that was allowed back, that was arrested for second degree, she was allowed back in school. So the question is, why would a Baltimore City school allow her to come back when she has an arrest record? This has got red flags raising a lot when we come back. Please stay with us. Look, throughout the 8 years of Give Me a Break, we have focused in on schools that have failed to educate their kids, from teachers abusing students to even students who went to juvie but then who were allowed back in school. We also focused on a rapist who was put on probation but then taken off the sex offender registry list and still allowed back into school, which was a concern for all parents. But in a Give Me a Break first, this is a story about a student who feels that her high school isn't safe. What you're about to hear is a story of a student who was convicted of a second-degree assault. But then there's the twist. The student who was convicted was then allowed back at the school. And the student you're about to meet says, she feels unsafe walking in the halls to deal with her convicted attacker. So the question is, why would the school be allowed to even bring back a student who was convicted, sent to prison, and then be allowed back in the classroom? Do you feel this has a red flag being waved on? I certainly think so. But let's see what this story thinks. Here's Chris Papps.
This is Morgan.
And I want to do my graduation cap with you.
In just a few months, she's set to graduate high school.
Something pink and glittery. But not too crazy because the cap and gown is red.
Afterwards, Morgan plans to study business at Morgan State University.
I still want to be close to my mom, my dad, and, immediate family, so.
It's not because Morgan has the same name as you?
Not just because of my name, so no.
Morgan State has been Morgan's dream for years.
I want to become an entrepreneur.
But this past fall, inside Woodlawn High School, those dreams were disrupted.
When it first happened, I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to go to school.
On October 2nd, while sitting in math class, the 18-year-old was viciously attacked by another student who Morgan says she barely knew.
So she got up in one jump and just started hitting me in my head. She pulled my hair and everything. I remember feeling like a turtle, in a shell kind of position.
Morgan told Fox 45 News she does not remember much from the attack.
Yeah, it was right here in the front.
Including the moment when a chunk of hair was ripped out of her scalp. This video was posted online after the attack. Morgan told us the student in the video was the attacker, who's still holding Morgan's hair. This must have been pretty violent.
Yeah. I just feel like nobody was there to protect me.
Medical records show, as a result of the attack, Morgan suffered a concussion. An MRI found she also sustained optic nerve swelling. To this day, Morgan takes medication for severe headaches. The family told us they've paid more than $6,000 in medical bills.
This was a total blindsided attack.
Teray Little is Morgan's mother.
The kids are fighting. They're being attacked, being stomped in the head, being hit in the head. These are really violent attacks that are going on at the school.
On October 10th, 8 days after the attack, Little filed this bullying, harassment, or intimidation investigation form with Woodlawn High School. She says she never heard back. And, according to Little, the school never contacted police, even though the family requested charges be filed. Morgan's attacker was suspended for 10 days. But afterwards, the juvenile wasn't just back in school. This family says she was back in the same classroom with Morgan.
I think that they don't care. And it's been so many incidents where they're overwhelmed. And you have these people in these positions who don't have a clue on what to do.
So this family took matters into their own hands and filed criminal charges. And on February 11th, the attacker was convicted of second-degree assault in a Baltimore County juvenile courtroom. According to confidential court documents Fox 45 obtained, the juvenile was ordered to have no unlawful or illegal contact with Morgan. Now, despite a second-degree assault conviction, the attacker is still in Woodlawn with Morgan. Do you feel safe in that school?
No, I don't.
Not at all. Not at all.
Woodlawn is a school that is getting increasingly violent. According to state data, over the last 3 years, Woodlawn has seen a 77% increase in student suspensions or expulsions for attacks, threats, or fighting. Earlier this month, Project Baltimore obtained this video of a massive fight inside Woodlawn's cafeteria.
I think this is life or death, actually.
In response to seeing that video, Ryan Coleman, the president of the Randallstown chapter of the NAACP, is now calling on Baltimore County Public Schools to remove violent students from the classroom so other students like Morgan can get a proper education.
And I think that if you're going to disrupt other students from learning, then you don't need to be there.
Baltimore County Public Schools declined an interview, but told Fox 45 in a statement that Woodlawn followed all applicable system procedures and policies in this investigation and worked swiftly to address reported concerns, including reports of bullying and harassment. The district added, Woodlawn has worked directly with the impacted families and remains committed to ensure all students reach their highest potential.
If you don't feel Woodlawn is safe, why do you still send your daughter there?
I'm just trying to hold on, to be honest, because she's a senior, so she'll be done pretty much May.
Are you excited to graduate?
Yes.
Get to Morgan State?
Yes. I honestly feel like the school they just need to do better.
A community meeting that was scheduled at Woodlawn High School for earlier this month, in part to discuss student violence, was postponed. A new date has not yet been set, but we'll keep you posted. I'm Chris Pabst, and this is Project Baltimore.
I go to school to be safe. I don't go to school to be having violence. So why would we gotta take a? I would want to take a break, but this is just way too harsh for me. You know, in 8 years of doing this broadcast, I have never ever. I had never ever was in a fight. I've seen fights happen. We talked about high school fights on this show. And believe me, you know, where is? Where's this thing? Because these people need to learn. You want to throw fists at our schools? Well, you go. If you think about fighting on school property, well, where do you want to fight from? You know, Chris does have a point though. Violence has increased in our schools. And is something being done? No. Does the school care? No. All they care about is just if you're being charged with a crime, you need to be suspended from school, or better yet, put into an alternative educational place, alternative schooling. Not being put back in the classroom because you're still in school. They will not make an exception. Remember those two girls we talked about who were being bullied? Well, those 3 years were not prison. They talked to the police and they told her, well, the school should have done this, school should have done that. And the school's like, well, it's an inadequate statement. It doesn't matter. You are a school system. Start acting like one. I don't care. I don't care about you counting money. I don't care about the fucking test scores. What I fucking care about is this. Education. Edu-fucking-cation. I don't want to go see a fight in a school. I want to be in a classroom with my ass sitting on the desk and learning math, English, history, social studies, sports, drama class, all the electives, every single one. I don't want to go walking in the hallways, seeing a fight happen, because if I saw a fight happening, even if I were to get punched in the face, the thing that you need, the fact of the matter is that we go to school to learn, but bullying has been an increase in our schools. You know, there's a lot of bad things going on in our schools. There's gang activity, drug activity, bullying in the extreme where the violence is real. And so you have to make sure those kids being pulled out. And what about the bully's parents? Were they in that juvenile court? We don't know. But what we do know is that juveniles still being put in the classroom and nobody's doing a damn thing to stop it. What else can be done? Laws have to be put in place and laws need to be changed. It has to be changed to where you cannot be attending school if you have a criminal record. If you have a criminal record, you cannot be attending school. However, if you have a criminal record, well, we can still provide your child alternative education. But in a dangerous hallway story we saw in 2020, the principal is like, well, we cannot keep your daughter safe. We'll provide homebound school. It's like, you can't keep your child safe, then you'll provide something else. There is a red flag being raised here. and nothing is being done to stop it. How can we combat this? You know, you can go cry to the principal, won't do nothing. Cry to the superintendent, won't mean nothing. You can yell, scream as loud as you want at your next school board meeting and say, hey, this child right here was not protected. This child right here had a concussion on her hair, had her hair pulled out. This student right here who committed the violence, that student right there is still in classroom, and y'all ain't doing shit. Y'all ain't doing shit. That's exactly what I would say at that board meeting. But this will do. Nothing's being done with people just finger popping each other's assholes. I want to get an education. I don't want to be in a fist fight or being bullied. It's one of the reasons why I created the Stop Bullying Speak Up group on Facebook to have people share their stories. Now, going back to this, mind you, this has over 4,000 views.
A Baltimore County.
And the comment section.
A Baltimore County.
And the comment section is just filled up, saying something like this. A 10-day suspension was just a 10-day vacation for that girl. Out of school suspension doesn't do shit. But the kid's like, yay! I get some time off of school. Party! Exactly what I said. Be like, you're suspended for 10 days. Yay! I'm gonna go party! That's not what out of school suspension means. Parents heard about it, you're grounded. And this one has racist. So many black kids want to achieve, but being held back by those who don't want to be in school. The NAACP should be being panic and them for their own. Okay? Probably not racism. It's utter bullshit. ... Sue the bully's parents, guardians, sue the school, and sue the state of Finland and take the appropriate actions. Enough people started filing lawsuits. This crisis would stop. It's truly disgraceful. The criminal justice system in this state is an absolute joke. No way the assailants should be back in that school. Press charges to police. Sue the assailants' parents in civil court. What is the SRO coverage? The school resource officers. You know why there's no school resource officers? Because of the budget cuts. This person right here, I have absolutely no words to describe how disgusting this is. As a fellow Morgan State alum 20, I congratulate you, Morgan, on your success to make it this far, and I wish you the best of luck in MSU. You'll see schools are like zoos. What a complete joke. It's a county school. There's no way you could be late back in school. It's crazy. It's a lot of these schools, these low achievers in Baltimore City roots have moved to the area. Man, Woodland's been like this for a long time. This is why I used a friend of mine's address in another school district many years ago, so my sister would not go to Woodland. Because I knew how it was, and I refused to have my sister exposed to or target the ish these kids do in these schools these days. Attack as such is enough to remove your child for her safety. Yes, it's only a few months away, but it's not worth the risk. Praying for Morgan's safety. Okay. Didn't have a strong in the 70s and 80s. You did something like that, you were gone. Plus, females didn't act like that. Then videotaped and bragged about the beatdown. Technically, assault for a juvenile is nothing. It won't even fall for them past 17. ... The fact that she is back in the classroom with her shows that they don't care about her daughter's safety or education. Nobody cares. It's like, you go to school, get your diploma, you're out of here. Baltimore City or Baltimore County High School, they are not the same in Baltimore schools. This young lady just has to hold on until she graduates, which is terrible here, but she'll be really more than ready to attend Morgan State. That's what happened to that 07-08. I'm glad I am not at that school of violence drama anymore. Nobody can do a damn thing but sit there and say suspension. No, what happened to expulsion or alternative schooling? Nothing is being done. Can we make a difference? Yes, we can. Can we change laws? Yes, we can. Can we help out the victims? Yes, we can. The bullies? Why do you do it? I mean, you sit down, council sits down with the bully, and it's like, why do you pick on somebody? 'Cause it's fun. It's fun to pick on somebody. Why do you do bad things? 'Cause it's fun. It's fun to do bad things. You smoke cigarettes. Yeah, can I have one? No, you can't have a cigarette. Young boys are supposed to smoke with cigarettes. That can make your lungs sick. I don't care about my lungs. It's fun to smoke. I like doing unhealthy things. Remember the episode of the Boondocks, smoking with cigarettes? This is how the school system's fucked up. This is why nobody gets their education, because of all the shit that goes on. You know, gang activity, drug activity. There's bullying going on in our schools. Nothing is being done because nobody would give a shit about what goes on. All they care about, money, 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 money. That's all they care about, is just money being pulled out the ass from our tax dollars. We get free education from tax dollars, but what do we get in return? We don't get a damn thing but fucking bullying, drugs, and violence going on. And nothing to combat this. Nobody can combat that. Even cyberbullying. No one can do a damn thing. We have laws and we have punishment. You do the crime, you do the time. Coming up, a student who got upset with another student and threw something at his face. Please stay with us. Look, as long as we're on the subject here of, violence in our schools, I mean, assault is a real thing. Second-degree assault can be out of school suspension, but jail time ain't gonna do crap for people. As we continue talking about this, our alarms are not being raised here. Nothing could ever be done to any kid who's being bullied or assaulted. In-school suspension does nothing. For this student you're about to meet, it was a half-day in-school suspension and an extracurricular activity being taken away. Just take a look. I don't want to speak.
We got a referral here that you're throwing a binder in class?
Yeah. It really wasn't a big deal, Mr. Hamilton.
You can't be throwing stuff in class.
It's not a big binder. It's not. It just, look at this. It's not that big. No.
Jamaica, it is a big binder, and definitely could have hurt him.
I wasn't really throwing it. It was just here. It's from not even that far away. From me to you. Not even me to you. Way closer.
Where was he sitting? Across from you?
Front.
One seat ahead of you?
No, two.
2 seats. So you zing it up past another student and then hits him?
Yeah.
If you look at the policy here for assault, it's going to be out of school suspension.
Out of school suspension?
Could be.
But she doesn't have a game tonight. Cheerleading is really important to me. I have a huge game tonight, and if I can't cheer, I'm letting down my whole squad.
You can't be throwing stuff in class, especially binders. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go half a day of in-school suspension, and I'm going to take the cheer away this evening.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Why?
If it hits him just right, all of a sudden he's off to the emergency room, and then we're having a whole different conversation here. Don't let it happen again. Thank you. Cheerleaders are athletes and are really held to a very high standard, and they're supposed to have a very positive influence within our student body, and that greatly disappointed me.
Stuck at the DMV, and I think I'm late on my car insurance.
Good thing the General gives you a break with flexible payment options.
Let's get you a break while you wait.
I get it. You know, you're cheerleading. You're a cheerleader. I have friends who graduated that used to be cheerleaders. If they were here, I wouldn't be talking crap about them, you know. Well, I got something to say. It's like, just. You might think that cheerleading is your right, but it's not. It's a privilege. And the second one, extracurricular activities like sports and cheerleading and football are privilege. All right, the principals are vice versa right to take away the privilege. Not just no pass, no play, but Muslims have the game tonight. Well, maybe you should have thought of that if you went ahead and freaking had any school suspensions for or something like that. You got off easy. If I was the principal, she would have got a minimum of 1 day out of school suspension with police action depending on the severity of the injury. Oh, she threw a binder. Those things hurt a man the size. Ouch. Maybe you should have if you went ahead and did it. Here's common sense for you. Don't be doing that. It ain't right to be freaking throwing paper. Assault is a real thing. Period. I don't care if you're an athlete or whatever. I don't care if you're an athlete. Nobody cares that you're an athlete. I get it. I get it. Nobody cares, and nobody will be. Alright. Now for a story all about calories. And even finding the right time to put calories on the menu. And the story which you're about to, and some people which you're about to meet, they ain't even. They even asked the question.
Okay, Little Wendy's hack. If you want a super fresh, high quality.
Should calories be listed in all the menus? Well, you've seen them. You've always seen them on all the windows and all the menu boards. Kind of like how many calories are there. menu
Take
boards.
5 for all my oil changes every 5,000 miles. Been coming here for
Obesity.
But obesity is probably the biggest one ever.
Fierce opposition from the restaurant industry itself.
But what more can be done to prevent obesity besides putting calories on the board menu? Here's Leslie Stahl.
It all started last December when New York City passed a regulation requiring chain restaurants to post the calories of their food right on their menus or menu boards.
We think is it will encourage people to choose lower calorie options because that information will be available to them.
Health Commissioner Thomas Frieden is in charge of regulating New York City's $11 billion restaurant market.
These restaurants do not want to do
They
this.
really hate it.
They
There's no
hate
question
it.
about that.
Now, most of the chains have the nutritional information somewhere.
Usually on a website hidden somewhere, or on the package liner or the tray liner after you've bought the product.
Why isn't that enough? If you care about the calories, you can find out.
No one is going to check a website, then go to the local burger joint and decide what to buy. People do look at the menu board. The menu board is the most prominent thing within a fast food restaurant.
The regulation would cover mainly big chains like the Colonel, the King, and the Clown.
McDonald's,
Absolutely.
KFC,
Yep.
Starbucks.
Yep.
He wants people to see as they order that some combo meals, like this one from Burger King, pack 2,200 calories, more calories than many adults need in a day. Some Starbucks drinks are more fattening than Big Macs. And even what seems good for you might be anything but.
You might think that tuna salad, because it says salad, is healthier.
Yeah.
Or you might see that it's many more calories than a roast beef sandwich. And you might prefer a roast beef sandwich too. You were having tuna salad because you thought it was healthy.
Ryan Wansink is a nutrition and marketing professor at Cornell.
You mind if I ask you a few questions?
He uses the mall as a laboratory, observing the food court crowd like other scientists study rare tribes.
Well, how many calories do you think is in that number?
No idea. Wansink, who even wrote a book called Mindless Eating, finds that people always underestimate calories, but they get it especially wrong when they're eating something they think is healthy. Today, he's concentrating on meals from Subway,
This is Jared.
which markets itself as the healthy fast food alternative.
He created the Subway diet.
Here, he asks people to estimate the calories of an especially caloric combo, a foot-long Subway with mayo, chips, and juice.
Now for this, you estimated that it had about 300 calories.
Right.
In reality, it has 1,390.
Wow.
It's 1,390 calories.
That's more than half you eat you're supposed to eat in a day, huh?
Yeah, it is, yeah. And people are eating at a restaurant that they think is healthy. People grossly underestimate how much they eat, by about 50%.
So they eat much more than they think they're eating?
By about twice as much. That mayonnaise you ate probably wasn't that healthy. The extra cookie you ate probably wasn't that healthy. The chips probably weren't that healthy. Well, let's say, for instance, that we would have had the calories listed on the menu when you ordered something like that. Would that influence what you ordered?
Absolutely. I don't think I would have gotten it. I mean, 1,350 calories for a Subway. I mean,
The calorie labeling in New York would not apply to calorie meccas like Chinese restaurants, delis, and fancy French bistros. The chains were singled out because they already publish nutritional information about their food, the idea being they've already done the calculating. Wendy's spokesperson Danny Lynch says that's unfair.
In essence, you are penalizing the restaurant chains that are voluntarily providing information to consumers.
But if you weren't already providing it, you were exempt?
Yes.
The industry feels you're picking on the chains because they were doing something positive and they get whacked for it.
We're saying if you're doing it, put it where people will actually see it. Empower your consumers.
But what's healthy for consumers may not be healthy for business. In 2003, the chain Ruby Tuesday tried listing calories on its menus and sales dropped. Soon, most calorie numbers vanished.
Aren't you truly afraid that by listing the calories, you're going to lose money?
Absolutely not. If we were afraid to provide the information, why would we voluntarily provide it?
What restaurants are doing now is a sham. They're putting information on websites and they know perfectly well that very few people see it there. They put it there so they can say they're doing something good.
What do you say to parents who are concerned that their children are overweight and they want this information?
Say to them that if you have a computer, log on to our website and
That's
you can see
not
that
easy.
information in
You're
today's.
gonna go take your kids out to dinner, you've worked all day, and you're telling them to go to a computer?
We think that the poster is a good solution.
The poster. Last year, Wendy's introduced a poster with lots of nutritional numbers, calories amongst them. But as opposed to other displays in bright colors, the poster is drab and easy to miss.
If people are interested in calories,
But what if they're
interested in-
not interested in calories?
they're probably not going to look anywhere for it.
Well,
they're
if
not
it's on the
interested in
menu board,
calories,
there it is. They won't have to look for it.
if you can provide accurate information.
He says that because Americans love to customize, adding cheese or extra mayo, providing accurate information is nearly impossible and would certainly take the fast out of fast food. He showed us a Wendy's menu board that lists the combos.
Well, at Wendy's, we offer 5 substitutions for the fries, and then 3 types of drinks. So you can order a combo 234 different ways.
He then showed us what it would look like.
And obviously, no one can read it. And you would have to see this from 8 feet away.
Let me see. This is absurd. Oh my gosh. This problem isn't unique to Wendy's. Consider Starbucks, where you can order drinks 87,000 different ways. A cup of joe can be 5 calories, but order a venti white chocolate mocha, add milk and whipped cream, and it nears 800 calories. Dunkin' Donuts made a mocked-up menu board to show Commissioner Frieden it would be unreadable.
This is what they said they would have to do.
Okay, well that is pretty tiny, and I think if I were in a store and that was way up high, I would have trouble seeing it.
Very hard to read. So we asked our print shop at the health department, couldn't you do this more clearly? And in just a couple of hours, they came back with this.
So this is from your own, oh man. And that has all the same information in it?
All the same information, no different.
While the battle of the mock-ups was being waged, Subway decided to do it for real. Over the summer, they began posting calorie values on their menu boards in New York City. Bill Scattini, head of marketing at Subway, came with me to order my first calorie-informed sub. Oh, I can really see the calories. It's very clear. The board is not cluttered, but would it reflect my order? Roast chicken, listed at 310 calories. I want a foot-long Italian bread. But the calorie number on the board is for a 6-inch sub, so I need to double the number in my head. Where do I see calories on the bread?
The calories on the bread are figured into the sandwich.
I got it. Okay. I want mayo. I like mayo. Good. Now how do I check on my calories?
That kicks it up 110 more calories.
Where do I see that?
You would be on the sneeze guard cling back here.
The sneeze guard cling was a separate posting. But where was the mayo?
Sorry, it's not in there, but it is in the brochure.
Already I'm confused. My sandwich actually came in at over 700 calories. No matter how you slice it, complying could take the fast out of fast food. But Subway is determined to try, unlike the rest of the industry, which argues that calorie labeling is not only confusing, it's downright condescending to you, the customer.
We've given you the option to find this information, to look this information, to use this information. You're telling me that you're not taking the choice, but that is your choice.
But the chains are up against a formidable foe, because Frieden has a record of making big industry bend to his will. He's the one who forced smoking out of city bars and artery-clogging trans fats out of city restaurants. Both those bans spread nationwide, which is also happening with his new crusade. Do you think you're going to have to go in and fight this in Seattle, in California, and in the other states
that are now seeming to want to have their own regulations like this.
We are engaged in conversations in each one of those markets.
Separately.
Separately.
And so for the chains, it's war, which they're fighting with lawyers and lobbyists. In California, the industry convinced Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger to veto menu labeling, calling it impractical. And in New York, the State Restaurant Association successfully sued to stop calories from going up on the board because the city had singled out those voluntarily providing the information. But Dr. Frieden is now rewriting the regulation and is certain it will pass.
Hey, is it a tasty meal with cheese? Like an hash meal?
There's still the ultimate question, will the menu board labeling work? Professor Watsing says his research shows there's a possibility it could backfire.
Do you ever see people ordering the low-fat meal, main course, and then saying, well, I didn't eat anything, and then ordering a hot fudge sundae for dessert?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And actually, this is called calorie compensation.
Oh, there's a name for this?
Yes. And what happens is you think you're doing yourself good, and so you reward yourself later on. So, for instance,
People do that.
Absolutely, they do. If they believe they ate this nice, healthy lunch, they're more likely to eat snacks and eat more calories of it later on in the day.
There's little scientific evidence that posting calories will make people eat less. But Commissioner Frieden says it's worth the try. And he says there's the shame factor. He hopes that restaurants will be embarrassed into being more responsible.
Obesity is a terrible epidemic. We don't understand all the causes of it, but we do know that it is undermining the health of our society in so many ways. We need to take action. This is one measure that we think will make some progress in this area. It's not going to solve the problem, but it's part of the solution.
It's like the old saying, if you're not part of the solution, then you're part of the problem. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. It's a classic cover-up. A classic car being covered up because of injuries. The car which you're about to hear is a Corvette that was being made in the 1970s. And since then, there's probably not been any accidents. But for consumers that probably owned the car, there were a lot of accidents back then. The stories that you're about to hear, they were classic cover-ups by Ford. Did anyone knew about this before it made that recall? Here's Dan Rather.
Last summer, Harold Gilo was 16 and in love with a 32-year-old. A 32-year-old car, a classic Ford Mustang.
Ooh, look at this beautiful car. That's what I'm saying. Oh, awesome car.
On July 15th, soon after this tape was made, Harold was driving the beloved 1966 Mustang in the rain. The car hydroplaned, spun across the center line, where an oncoming vehicle hit the Mustang in the rear.
The car was fully engulfed in flames. I mean, the flames were coming out the front window, the side windows.
Craig Jackson swerved around the skidding Mustang. A professional firefighter who has seen many car fires, Jackson was startled by the size of the exploding fireball in the Mustang.
I was going, why is this accident all of a sudden turning into a catastrophe like this? I still don't know what really happened.
Harold, at the wheel, was incinerated. The police say Harold was going faster than conditions would allow. Ford Motor Company says Harold panicked and was killed on impact. Harold's parents dispute that and point to a coroner's report saying not that their son was killed on impact, but that he burned to death in the Mustang fire.
I'm sure that Harold knew that we loved him, and I think we're fortunate in that, without a shadow of a doubt, we know
He's in the arms of Jesus. We know that.
But this is going to happen again unless people know about it.
What Liz and Harold Gilo Sr. learned was a secret about the classic Mustangs. The cars built from 1964 through 1970. For more than 30 years, fires erupting after crashes in the trunks of some classic Mustangs have spread into the passenger compartment. This American icon has left a trail of suffering and death.
All across America,
These old Mustangs are treasured so by so many people, they just won't let them go. In addition to the amazing number of Mustangs still on the road, there are many thousands off the road just waiting to be restored. From fields, from garages, from junkyards, classic Mustangs are being reclaimed, reconditioned, and returned to the nation's highways. And every one of them carries in the trunk a potentially deadly defect, says San Francisco attorney David Rand.
This right here is the gas tank. I'm gonna climb in here.
He's representing the parents of Harold Gilo, and he's sued Ford before on the gas tank design. Because the top of the Mustang's tank is the floor of the trunk, Rand says terrible fires can erupt and spread inside the car.
And as you can see, the gas tank is right here, inches away from me. And the gas has a very wide opening to come right from the tank directly into where the people are.
Ford has been sued more than 70 times by people burned in rear-end collisions of classic Mustangs. Most suits have been settled out of court without publicity.
I guess they felt that it'd be better to pay people off, give them money, than to recall the car.
We met many victims of classic Mustang fires. Marlo Aragon's accident happened in 1985. She was 15. A princess at her high school prom. In an instant, the fire in a 1967 Mustang burned away her fingers, much of her skin, her ears, and her hair.
Michael, did I tell you how I got out?
The fire in Lisa Hutchinson's 1966 Mustang burned her vocal cords.
It was just like a garden hose and was spraying gasoline in there. And
Peggy Beals' 1965 Mustang exploded in fire in 1972, leaving her with deep scars.
Oh, it's a classy looking car, but it's a death trap.
In 1995, Ben Hodges survived a rear-end crash in a 67 Mustang. He would have walked away without a scratch, except for the burning gas that came into the passenger compartment and nearly killed him.
Before I was born, they knew about this car. Before I was born, there was people getting burned in this car.
Ford has refused repeated requests to appear on 60 Minutes 2 to discuss the history of fires in the 1964 through 1970 Mustangs. Ford says these were all high-speed crashes, and in a letter, Ford insists the fact that there are so many registered Mustangs, up to 1.5 million classics still on the road, is unassailable evidence of the design integrity and performance of this car line. In fact, there are no reliable statistics on fires erupting in these classic Mustangs. We requested our own expert analysis of U.S. government data on highway fatalities. The result, the death rate where fire occurred in rear-end Mustang crashes is more than 3 times higher than for all other cars of the same period. While Ford chose not to speak with us on camera about the classic Mustang, Lee Iacocca did. Former president of Ford Motor Company, Iacocca was known as the father of the Mustang when it debuted in 1964.
So people then said, wow, that's such a great buy. I'll go in now, I'll buy air conditioning, I'll buy a V8. Before you knew it, we were making nothing but money. I mean, we were rolling in. We were lucky. Timing.
Was safety a big factor in those days?
In those days, it was part of the specifications you laid out to the best of your ability, but it wasn't front and center. It wasn't the priority.
When the Mustang was designed, when you brought it to marketplace, you don't remember discussions about the fuel tank, per se?
Not one, in honesty, not one.
You don't remember anybody saying, look, this fuel tank may give us problems?
This is news to me. We built cars in that era to the best of our ability, what was available to make as good and safe a car as we could.
Iacocca says he is stunned by the suggestion that rear-end fires in classic Mustangs indicate the car is seriously flawed.
The reason I'm stunned is if you don't have that many successes in your life, to tell me that the Mustang had more problems or severity of problems than any other car in its class, or maimed or killed more people, to me is poppycock.
But it's not just poppycock to some of Ford's own safety engineers, who concluded early on there was a problem with the Mustang's fuel tank design.
It was clear there to say, look, we goofed.
One of those engineers is Peter Bertelsen. He has never before spoken publicly about his years at Ford when the Mustang was marketed as a sports car Americans could afford.
It was supposed to be a low-price car, and it was, and in order to make it lighter and less expensive, they did come up with this drop-in fuel tank.
The drop-in fuel tank. Ford was the only American manufacturer to use one before abandoning the design in 1971. On Mustangs built from 1964 through 1970, the gas tank was simply dropped into a hole in the trunk. If the tank is ruptured in a rear-end collision, there is no solid barrier, just a flimsy seat back between the passengers and the gasoline.
It's not a safe way to put fuel into an automobile.
To this day, Ford calls the system reliable and safe. But Bertelsen remembers there was early and widespread recognition at Ford of the dangers of the Mustang's fuel system.
I can say absolutely that all of the engineering executives were aware of the problems of the drop-in tank.
In 1966?
In 1966.
Plans were made to change future models, but the danger in the classic Mustang was never publicized.
Mustang from Ford.
Mustang sales soared, especially among baby boomers. Even the boomer in the White House owns a classic Mustang. Style sold cars, not safety, says Lee Iacocca, who insists he tried.
You said I'm the father of Mustang. I happen to think I'm the father of safety. I really went for it and took a beating at the time.
Iacocca did take a beating when he tried to sell cars that wouldn't start till the seat belts were fastened. Congress passed a law against that. But Iacocca also pushed all the way to the White House for a delay in federal safety standards. And in a meeting with President Nixon, he was recorded on the president's secret taping system saying safety was killing the American car business.
I didn't know I was being taped at the time. I don't know what I know that.
It's that shoulder harnesses and headrests are complete waste of money. I'm reading out of the transcripts. Safety has really killed off our business.
We wanted to make sure we survived, so we talked differently then.
In building his case against Ford, attorney David Rand discovered film of a decades-old Mustang crash test.
They call it Crash Test 301. And they put a camera on
Ford Crash Test 301, which he says shows unambiguously the danger of the drop-in gas tank.
Right, and here comes all the gasoline.
Ford says this 1966 test was very severe on a modified car, designed to study occupant movement, not to evaluate the gas tank. But the camera looking from above down into the trunk shows the tank being crushed and gasoline spewing onto passengers.
And very clearly, this dummy's head is just being saturated with gasoline. All of this gasoline, if it had been ignited, would have definitely killed all of the people in the car.
Another element in the case against Ford. 30 years before Harold Gilo's fatal accident, a young Ford engineer named Sherman Henson wrote in 1968, warning his superiors, quote, a fuel tank rupture during a rear-end collision would result in gasoline inside the vehicle.
Ford knew this accident was going to happen. They knew it 30 years ago, and they know it's going to happen again.
You are or are not flatly accusing Ford of suppressing the information.
I am flatly accusing them of that.
That has yet to be decided in court. Ford violated no laws or federal safety standards on the classic Mustang, but there was no safety standard on rear-end crashes back then, recalls Joan Claybrook, formerly the nation's top highway safety official.
So there was no government standard that covered it. It met all government standards, but there wasn't one that dealt with that problem.
In 1976, a year before Claybrook took over, the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration reported classic Mustang fuel tanks, quote, present no fire hazard which does not also exist in other fuel tank systems, unquote. But Claybrook, now a consumer advocate, believes Ford passed by withholding from investigators its own Crash Test 301.
Ford knew and never told the Department of Transportation during the course of this investigation that when the car was hit in the rear and the fuel tank came forward, fuel could spew out into the passenger compartment.
You say Ford knew, but didn't tell the Department of Transportation.
That's correct. They had a crash test that they conducted, and it was withheld from the Department of Transportation.
Department records show Ford's Test 301 was not submitted, but Ford officials maintain they were fully responsive and that 301 was not designed to test fuel tank integrity and not relevant to the safety of the drop-in tank.
Why would they not fix it?
They hated recalling cars, particularly then. And Lee Iacocca, who was president of Ford, loved that car. He helped to design it. And so they didn't ever want to admit that they had a problem with their best car on the road.
Lee Iacocca insists he was never told of problems with the drop-in tank and says, don't blame the automakers because old cars do not have the same safety equipment as new ones.
To me, it's almost asinine to say, anything that grows old, you got to turn back the clock and make good on that. But technology, what the hell would you do with a black and white TV set today? You'd throw it away.
But there are repairs that could be made, say Harold Gilo's parents, and Ford could inform people of dangers learned about the classic Mustang.
They did know there was a problem with the car. They knew that based on their own test, based on their own safety engineers, and they did nothing about it. They didn't warn people.
Liz Gilo wants Ford to warn people now.
Maybe some other little boy or girl will grow up, go to college, get married, have children. Harold never will do that. He'll never do that.
The family has not yet sued Ford, but is on a safety campaign to get people out of classic Mustangs. They may find an unlikely ally in Lee Iacocca. At 74, Iacocca is out of the car business and into the business of selling electric bicycles. His advice today to owners of classic Mustangs who are concerned about safety?
And if you really want a real safe one, trade up. After 35 years, it's time to dump that old Mustang.
When migraine strikes, do you question the trade-offs of treating? Ubrelvy is another option.
Dump that for safety purposes, and even then, you yourself could even get a really good Mustang for a good price. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Alright, finally tonight, would you ever think about staying up to your mom? I would never think about that. It may be funny or a good story time, but it probably isn't. And tonight's about our break timeless Tim. Funny animated stories. And years ago, his video got 3.8 million views to Staying Up to Your Mom. And it was kind of funny. It was really funny. Take a look.
Discipline is an important factor to every child's upbringing. Serious discipline that allows the child to develop self-control, resulting in kids becoming emotionally and socially mature adults. Now, there's 3 types of discipline: preventative, supportive, and corrective. Now, these are cool and all, but I didn't grow up with any of them. See, I grew up with the one and only black discipline, usually in the form of black love, aka you about to get your ass beat. The more times you mess up, the more you gon' find out. Now I get it, times have changed. We're living in 2022, and to some people, black discipline is a bit controversial. Let me explain. Still with the mind of 3 types of discipline, if a child makes a mistake, first, a parent is supposed to give the child a chance to answer back why they made a mistake. Johnny, please open the door. No, Mommy, you're in my personal space. Oh, I'm so sorry, son. But with black love.
Boy, did you think this is your mother's house? Tim, yes? Hurry up and clean it up.
See, first you get your ass beat, then you get to answer. You better have a good reason. Now, since I grew up with both parents, I unequivocally 100% prefer getting whooped by my mom over my dad. See, mothers are nurturers by nature. Oh, please believe they'll put hands on you, but with some form of restraint. But fathers, ooh, they bought their life. My pops lived for these moments. And that, my God, is where this story begins. So for this story, I'ma take you back to the day I stood up for myself. So it was a Friday night. Now, as usual, my mom would get off work, get dinner ready, so we could eat as a family. Now, at the time, my parents were a little on the low end, aka were broke, which meant we ate the same meal during the week. I'm talking rice and beans, or some noodles, and just maybe on the weekend, we might get a little special treat. And by special, I just mean something different. Now, on this particular day, my mother was making steak, potatoes, and greens. Ooh, sounds good, right? Finally, a lucky meal.
Tim, it's time for dinner.
Okay, Mom. So I get to the table.
Before you start, have you finished your homework?
Well, I'm about to after dinner.
About to?
Boy, get your butt back and finish your work. Then you can eat.
So I get back to my room and start working on my homework. Damn, I hate doing book reports. Mom's over here talking about do your homework. How about you do your work and stop being broke? So, still, your boy's working on the book report. Then 2 hours go by. Then 3 hours go by. Still putting in that work. So my mom comes to my room.
Are you done?
Mom, it's a book report. I have to read the book first.
Well, you can eat your dinner
and come back and finish your work.
So I get to the kitchen, get my food, and put it in the microwave. Ooh, this about to be good. So I sit on the table and start cutting the steak. Oh, dude, this thing's too hard. I can't eat this. What kind of cheap ass steak did Mom get? So I get to my mom's room. Mom, the food is too hard.
Well, you should have ate it when it was warm.
Well, you said, never mind. Now, since I wasn't feeling it, your boy decided to throw the food in the trash and look for something else when I get hungry. So I get the food, open the trash, and throw it in the garbage. Then I got back to my room and started chilling.
Here, boy, did you just throw out the food in the garbage?
Yeah?
Why?
Because it was too hard to eat.
Do you know how hard I had to work to get that food?
But it was old and hard.
You're going to eat that food.
What?
Get that food out of the trash and eat it.
Mom, hold up. You want me to do what?
Do I need to repeat myself?
Now, throwing food away is one thing. But making your son pick it off the trash and eat it again, oh, hell no.
Did you hear what I said?
Now, this is where it got real. See, if there's one thing little Tim was about, it's about that life. So I looked dead at my mom and said, no, you eat it off the trash can. Now, it's about to pop off. So my mom walks close to me, looks deep in my eyes, and says,
this is my house. And if you ever want to eat here again, you're going to pick up that food.
no, I'm not. I'm going to go straight for the slice, but the boy catches it like cheap. I said, you go eat it.
Oh, you think you a big boy now?
Yes, I do.
Oh, no. You think you a man now?
Sure am.
Okay, I'm going to let your daddy deal with this man.
Hold up, Mom. Mommy, please. No. Don't tell Daddy.
Oh, no. I thought you were a man. Now you deal with the man.
So Mom leaves the room, and your boy started tall, ripping. Gee, what am I going to do? Okay, Tim, get it together. If you stand up to your parents, they'll respect you even more. Yeah, I'm a man now. And men don't cry like a beach. Now, since my pops wasn't going to be home anytime soon, I started the long wait. Half an hour goes by. My pops doesn't show up. Can't get a cool, Tim. Don't you dare cry. Then an hour goes by. Still, Pops hasn't returned. Now I start bugging. Come on, Tim. Don't you lose it. You's a man. So I start working out. With each moment strengthening the body for the battle that's about to transpire. Come on, buddy. You got this. You gotta get stronger. You gotta take those whoopings like a man. No more crying. No more being scared of Pops. No more nasty food. 2.
Try the strawberry shortcake snowball slush float and many more flavors in the Sonic app. Live free, eat Sonic.
Hours goes by, and finally my body was ready to stand up to the black love. Then I hear my Pop's car pull up. It's game time, Tim. Get your face on and stand your ground. My Pops enters the house. Then a few moments goes by, and finally he enters. Dad, before you start, let me explain. This man slapped the black out of me. When I tell you I stayed up to that kitchen, this man was ready to catch our body. I got the food out of the trash, didn't even warm it up, and ate that steak like it was the best home-cooked meal one could ask for. So, moral of the story. Be grateful for what you have. Your life, no matter how bad you think it is someone else's fairy tale. Next, on the Thomas Tim Chronicles.
Well, everybody is on pins and needles across the country, particularly those teams who are in the running for LeBron James. You ready to go, LeBron? Where's the powder? So what's new? What's been going on with you this summer?
Oh man, Bron ain't leaving Cleveland.
Experience. Looking forward to it. The answer to the question everybody wants to know. LeBron, what's your decision?
And next time on Viral Break, stand up to your... Here's a sneak peek when we got our next Viral Break.
Bron's your boy hiding under the blanket.
Alright, now here's a sneak peek for our next Viral Break.
You better take that bass out of your voice, little boy. Dad, I'm not a kid anymore. Shit, I am. Oh, it's Daddy. You're a man now? That's right. I'm him.
I'm not him.
Shut up, Tim. No, I said, y'all real, but it's too real for me. As far as I'm concerned, Pops, you's nasty.
Wow. Wow. That's coming up on tomorrow's viral break. And also coming up on Friday, we have a very special treat for you. The septuplets. Ann Curry with the septuplets back in 1999. And also, on Mother's Day, a very special look into the septuplets years from now. That's coming up on Mother's Day, and the septuplets are coming up on Give Me a Break. And speaking of which, we're on 5 nights a week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and a new night, Give Me a Break, Sunday. 5 nights of commentary. We're like 5 nights at Freddy's. Wow. I'm going to play 5 nights at Freddy's. With this in mind, that's all for this edition of Give Me a Break Tuesday going to Wednesday. We'll see you again for Give Me a Break Wednesday. For everyone here on YouTube, man, give me a break. Stop bullying, speak up. Concentration, not strength. No jaywalking. Your body, your choice. Have a good night.